situation. You just trying to be smarter than the situation you're about to be. If you never start, then it'll never amount to anything because you never even gave it a chance.
Probably not the problem, but you still not.
You're not doing. All right, back here with Many Reasons here, and we got another topic for y'all, but we're gonna let Camper lead us into it. All right. The topic today, YouTube, is because so many people think that you can be independent within something, a relationship, and I don't think the concept is even believable. And they say I can be independent and still have independent. I don't think that's true. So what do you think? Can you be independent within something and within a relationship? Like truly, because we hear people say and utter these words and they say it so proudly thinking, oh, just because I got a man doesn't mean that, you see what I'm saying? So
doesn't mean what exactly? Like they need them? Or?
I'm not saying need because need is a strong word, but at the same time, we were, way back when since God.
I don't need their money. I got my own money.
I guess we can take it monetarily if you want to.
Because anyway you look at it, you can't be independent in a relationship.
No, keep it. Expel. Go. Tell us. Tell YouTube why. Tell them.
Oh, okay. If you're in a relationship,
yes,
y'all won.
Mm-hmm.
So you being independent, that means you do everything for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need nobody.
But then why do you have that person?
Either for fun, or somebody just to be around.
So a placeholder then, that's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I agree that some people look at a relationship for they like the thought of being in the relationship and not in the relationship. There's plenty of married people who have separate accounts. So they each have their own money. They have their own ways of taking care of themselves. They are literally there for dinners and for shows and for like, hey, I need a wife or a husband for this particular event. Yeah, that's being independent in a relationship. But that is just a partnership. That I wouldn't consider, that is a type of relationship that has no emotional value.
That is
in my mind.
I don't mean to cut you off, but that is a good classification. How you said partnership, because in marriage it is one. And we had a conversation a long time ago with this lady, and I said marriage and partnership are two different things. Partners meaning this, like two CEOs.
Partners means that you coexist with each other.
Yes,
it's a difference between coexisting with each other and actually being in a relationship with each other. So I know I mentioned before that when you choose to be in a relationship, you choose to drop off some of the things and trust that person to do things with you.
Yes.
So it's a codependency, but it's not codependent how people think codependency means. It's not that you cannot do without this person. You're choosing to do with this person.
But there's nothing wrong with codependency because we've been that for years. We've literally been engineered in time and this and that and the third to work together.
Presents codependency. They think somebody who's codependent is somebody who can't take care of it themselves.
That's true.
And they don't understand that codependency is you can either choose to have that person take care of that for you, or you can be in that situation where you don't know how to do it and you need somebody to take care of that for you. But there's a lot of people who are codependent on other people because they have to pay people to do what they need them to do because they don't know how to do it anyway.
That's true, but at the same time though, also in the same line that you just wove out, literally, and I quote, codependency is not a bad thing because media paints it wrong, correct? But are you not a thinker of your own will?
You got to look at how people are doing today. Too many people are into social media. Too many people are into celebrities. Too many people are watching TMZ, TikTok, Instagram.
But entertainment was never a source of knowledge for intellect. And that's the thing. People are taking social media for intellect, and that's the problem.
Exactly. They think of it as a source of knowledge.
Yes.
So when people take entertainment as a source for knowledge, then they're misinformed about what things actually are. And you have to understand, people come into a situation only having a third or fourth grade understanding of what that situation actually is.
Yes, I agree.
So
surface level. So now let's elaborate on that word need and want, because I heard you say need and want. You need somebody, you want somebody. So tell me what's the difference. Elaborate to YouTube.
I want my husband. I don't need him to be in my house for me to survive. I want him there.
So so want has that bigger desire.
Exactly.
So need doesn't have that desire then.
No.
But
need is a dependency.
Yeah, okay.
Need means that the only reason I'm with this person is because I cannot do without him. Okay. I do not believe that I can function or I can go about this life. That's why people stay in abusive relationships, because they are mind tricked into believing, hey, nobody else is going to take care of me the way this person is. Nobody's going to feel that need that I have other than this person. So I'm staying here to fulfill that need. But if they wanted that person in their life, if it was only a want and somebody else could fulfill that want, it's not that. You're not that.
So
whole.
Need has the gain. So if I need you here, that means I have something to gain on the end of this, right? But if I say want, well, not need as like I got something coming to the end, but when you say want, it's like I want you to be here. I want you in my life. That has that whole like.
It's a whole nother meaning.
I got to push back on that. I'm sorry. And I love that she has a different view. But there's nothing wrong with saying I need, because this is a first world country. First world countries allow problems saying I want you. I don't need you. Third world, you need the other person.
Yeah,
there is no
that other income. You need that
you
other
see,
person
but that's
to
what
take
I'm
care
saying
of you
though.
and stuff like that.
It's the freedom of
there's a lot of things happen like that in the first world country.
I agree.
Like there is a big gap between lower middle class, and even lower middle class is technically below the poverty line for the United States.
Yes.
So that lower middle class still makes too much money to get help, but makes too little money to actually live.
I agree.
So when you're in that, you feel like you need a second income.
Yes.
But it's not with a person that you want. That's where you get that independency in
Okay.
a partnership. That's a partnership. That's not a relationship.
But,
in a relationship, that person is there because you want
yes.
their presence there. You want to relent to them. You want to give into them. You want to subside to them, not because you have to, but because they're there because they fulfill something inside of yourself that is purposeful, not a need that is I'm trying to think of the word for it. It's not a need that you have to live. It's something that you're there that makes you want to live.
Yes, but at the same time,
it's the difference between surviving and living.
But yes.
Let's just say, finish. Do you feel like you need him?
Yes, because that.
Do you feel like you need him to run the show?
Yes, that's my other half. Yes, we are literally twins. Like share the same DNA and everything. Yes. Yes, but I'm saying though in the same thing, because in this society we paint need as lesser and we paint need as weak, and that's the problem. You can be and say I need you and not feel weak and less, but see, when you see in other people's eyes how they see of you, you feel like they're judging you, because people in first world country judge the hardest. So if they judge you, then you're gonna say I want you so you can feel stronger and power. Education system, the system of government and all them things allow that want word to come. If we didn't have that, it would still be need, and there's nothing wrong with that. And everybody condemns needing. Everyone condemns this, and it's like,
well, you can't condemn a need. You need to eat. You need water.
But I'm not talking about in that sense. That's survival. I'm talking about when you have someone. If I want you,
Maslow's hierarchy. That's
Maslow's
true. Hierarchy. You need those basic things.
Yes.
You need those basic things to even feel fulfillment in yourself. If you don't have those basic things, you can't reach a higher level of attainment or intellectual ability or thought processes. So yes, needs are important to grow. But once those needs are fulfilled, where do you go to get to that higher vibration, that higher acquisition of thought and process in life? You have to get, like I said, it's the difference between existing and living.
Yes,
surviving and living.
Yes.
Once you get past that need, now you get into the deeper thought of it. It's like, does this person fulfill something in my life, or are they just a need?
But at the same time, though, just like you said in the last episode, y'all can cultivate something and grow from that, because a sword needs a whetstone like a mind needs a book. And if y'all come together and y'all work together, the cultivation of growth can still be there. The tree can still bear great fruit.
Yeah, but we had to fulfill the need first.
Yes, I agree. But see, you cultivated off of the need, and everybody stops at need and says, now that I don't need you and I want you, I can exclude you. And that's the problem.
They don't. Once you get to that one place, that's where you go beyond that.
That's true.
And that's what most people don't understand. Like, just because I no longer need you doesn't mean that you don't have purpose in my life anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
It's too much on the need. It's not a weakness.
But they look at it like that, though.
But Like I said, but that's a misconception because taking entertainment as knowledge.
Yeah.
What people must understand, like once you no longer need them, once y'all made it past that point, that's where the work come in.
Yes, it does. But they don't want to do the work because they say, since I don't need your ass, that means therefore you can shoo away. But that's the problem.
But the problem is people don't know how to face adversity. That's what comes in where it's like, oh, I don't need you anymore. I don't have to deal with your stuff anymore.
That's true.
I'm going to move on. So most people don't understand that. That's why when they have a problem and the problem isn't addressed and they just feel like somebody should address it because, hey, they should recognize that there's a problem. They should recognize that there's no longer a need here. They should recognize that I have other options because I have this and that and that and that. Yes. No, people don't read minds.
Yeah, you're right. That's true. That's true.
Like,
they feel like it's easy to start over.
It's not, because now you have to cultivate something
that
brand new.
grass is greener on the other side aspect on it. Like grass is greener where you water it.
I was just going to say that, and that's true.
Grass is greener where you water it, and most people don't want to water it because it actually takes work. People think that marriage is supposed to be like on TV where people are just happy and married and they just going through life and they'll deal with it as they deal with it. No, they can deal with it because they already had that conversation with their partner about how they're going to deal with this situation or how I address this. Hey, I don't know if I'm coming off wrong to you or not, but this is how I'm taking this. And people don't know how to sit down and talk to somebody without being offended because everybody's so offended and soft and everything.
Yes, it disgusts me too.
And it just bothers the hell out of me because people complain about the simplest things where there's people who have lives way harder than you that are surviving with way less than you.
The truth.
Stop complaining. You have other things to worry about in life. You're too worried about on the negative things and not looking at all the positive things that this has brought to you.
You're a real one. Yes, I'm telling you, she tells the truth. And also, I see that whole thread that you just brilliantly explained. I love it, and that is the truth. People are way too soft. They're not trying to do the work. And there's a laziness about people nowadays where they don't want to do the work once you get past the need. And I couldn't follow that if I prayed about it. Because that was good, because nobody wants to put in the work and the effort no more. It's all just, if it can't be, then so what? They say this, if I let it go and God bring it back, then that means it's meant to be. No, you have to put effort into everything you do in life. Otherwise,
like we said earlier, faith without works is
yes, I agree.
You can't just pray about something and it magically gets fixed. Yes. You pray about something and you put investment and work into fixing that problem.
I agree.
If you don't make a plan, no. It says in the Bible that you can make plans all you want, but God's going to do it. God is going to work with your plan.
Yeah.
People don't interpret that part into it. You don't make a plan for it to work out the way you want it. You make a plan so that God can work with your plan and see what you're putting into it and see which direction you need to go into. You can never just sit there. Yeah, it stands still and know, but you still have to know what you're doing.
Yes. Follow that. Follow that. Follow that up right there. Go ahead. Follow that. Talk to that mic right there. Talk to it. Come on, T. You got it. Come on, T. Follow it. Ask them. I don't know. YouTube, please disregard them. But we love them, though. And they will be back on. But YouTube, we're trying to aspire to give y'all a different concept of marriage and relationship, because like I told you, this year we're getting to a whole different scope of things, taxes, rentals, things like that. It's expanding. But we love the opposition that she gave. We love the different insight that she gave, because we've always had yes men. And yes men don't really cultivate a lot of things. So now that we got some things going against the grain, we're going to give y'all more conversation like that. Really having people that aspire to want to change the narrative. We're not trying to change how y'all think. Just trying to give you can think on both ends. There's two brains, there's two sides to this. And anywho, YouTube, I done drawn on long enough. I think she did a good job following up. He was supposed to follow up, but you know what? It's okay because we love him. YouTube, this has been really good. This is Men of Reasons. We are out of here.